Hey everybody, it's Max B from Relational, and today we're going to build a budget tracking system for a record label from scratch in 45 minutes or less. Here we go. First, we're going to have a table called artists. Artists are going to have their name, and they're going to have a link to a table called labels. We're doing this from the perspective of a distributor where one artist has one label, but one label can have many artists. So we're going to link to one. The label is also going to have a name. They're going to have many artists. And then we're going to have an artist linked to a release. A release is going to be a new table, and releases, I'm going to rename that. I'm going to call that releases. Go back. Call this releases. Releases is going to have an artist, and it's going to have a title. It's going to have a release date. Okay. It's going to be a status. Status we'll call planning or scheduled or maybe archived. Okay. And then releases are going to have budget line items. Budget line items. It's going to be a new linked record field, linked to multiple, and budget line items is going to have a description and amount, a status. The statuses will be maybe submitted and paid or something like that. And then, as we go, we can build this out, but it's going to have like invoice for example, and that'll be that. So let's get some artists in here. We'll head over to Chat GPT. We'll say, please create a list of the top 10 recording artists of all time. Please stop. Resend this as a grid. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. There we go. That'll work. Okay. So now we have 10 artists. And then we have their label. So we'll say, please list a second column in the grid showing which record label they are from. Let's see if they can do this. Now, if you type in something into a linked record field where the primary field is single line text, then it will populate that information for you. But the primary field has to be single line text. Great. Then there's a release. So let's go to, now we now have labels, we have releases. The releases are going to have artists. So let's make a release for each artist. And then call it Yellow Brick Road, Hound Dog, Thriller, Like a Prayer, Elton John, Amorina, Led Zeppelin, I think 4, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Bob Dylan, Blood on the Tracks, Rolling Stones, Can You Hear Me Knocking, Queen, Innuendo. Great. Release dates, we're just gonna put some things in the future. So we'll say boom, 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 boom. Going to April maybe, boom, and then boom. And let's make the status of all of these scheduled. Great. And then budget line items needs releases. So let's take every one of these releases. Now we need a primary field. So we're going to call this formula. The primary field is going to be the artist and title. One thing I forgot in the releases table is format. So we're going to call this single album EP remix mixtape, whatever. Go on and on and on. So these will all be, let's see, single, album, single, album, single. Okay. Budget line items are going to have releases. So let's make at least one budget line item for each release. So copy all those, come over to budget line items, paste nicely into here. I'm going to say in ChatGPT, please list 10 things you would spend money on at a record label. It's not going to really work out. List as a grid so I can copy and paste. I don't know if that's going to work. Let's come back to that. Let's mix up some amounts. So this will be 5,500, 25,000, 85 that. Okay, there we go. Artist development, recording costs, publishing, artist royalties. I'm not good at ChatGPT. Okay, I'm going to make this up. We're going to say influencer marketing. We're going to say out of home. We'll call it roadside billboard. We'll say indie publicist. Digital ads. Website design. Street team activation. Call this miscellaneous digital marketing. And radio promo. And I don't know, this one could be called, I'll call this influencer marketing again, and then pop-up shop activation or something like that. One thing I missed here is a type. We want to say what type of expense these things are. So we'll call this influencer. This one, influencer, is going to be digital. Roadside billboard is going to be out of home. Publicity is going to be press. Digital ads is going to be digital. Website design is going to be marketing, just regular marketing. We'll call this creative. Website design. Street team activation, we'll call this that's out of home. Miscellaneous digital marketing, so that's digital. Radio promo, we'll call this promo. Influencers and pop-up activation will be out of home. Okay, cool. So we gotta set these. So we'll go digital for that one, digital for that one, creative for that one, out of home, digital, promo, influencer, it's gonna be digital, pop-up activation, out of home, publicist, press, and then out of home. All right, and then the status will just have like whatever, submitted and paid, alternating or something, doesn't really matter. Okay, now we need a primary field for this as well, so we'll make this a concatenate formula. So we'll concatenate the name of the release and a parentheses, and then the description. Why don't we just do this? And then the amount. And then the type. If somebody has a better way of doing the primary fields, I'd love to know, but that's the way I do it. Cool, no big deal. Just the primary field just needs to be unique. You're not going to actually use that on display anywhere. Trust me. All right. So we've got artists. Artists have labels. Let's get rid of these fields. I don't like when they give you those fields. Delete. One more thing. We need, call it contacts, but really I make it contacts, but for this case, I'm only going to use like internal contacts. So I'm just going to say first name, last name, and department. So this is kind of going to be like employees, but I make it contacts so we can grow into something more, like if there's non-employee contacts, but let's just make it easy for now. And the departments will be marketing, digital, A&R, promo, publicity, something like that. All right. List 25 members of a team, first and last name presented as a grid so I can copy and paste into a spreadsheet. Please work. Come on, please work. Thank you. Got these silly numbers there, though. Stop. Please redo this without the numbers in the first column. Come on. There we go, baby. All right, that'll be ready in a second. We'll pop that in. Meanwhile, we're going to do a formula called first and last. We'll copy this. Let's see, got 25 people. Come over here, highlight both fields, paste. My bad. We don't need that. So we got first and last. Departments, we'll go marketing, digital, A&R, promo, publicity. Let's just copy that. Okay, and then artists, let's just link these guys to some artists. So we'll go like this, back, contacts, boom, boom. And then let's give these guys a couple more. Great. Now in the artist table, we can say, who's the marketing team? And we use a roll-up field from the contacts, where the condition is department is marketing. We'll say array join values where the separator is a comma. That is not what I wanted. We want the name. There we go. And then we've got duplicate. We'll call this digital team, digital, all this A&R, promo, publicity, and we messed up. Why is there no values here? Something's going wrong. Contacts, let's group this by artists. Yeah, not everybody has everything. That's weird. So let's go into the contacts and we'll add artists to these people. Boom. Boom. Get this grouping off. So, you know, I'm saying I'm going to do this in 45 minutes. Half the time is spent cleaning the data. So if you're still watching this, I appreciate that. But I'll still make the time limit. You trust. Trust, trust, trust. Maybe an easier way might be to go from the artist side and just start like adding contacts. But the problem is I want to make sure we have like one of each department. All right, I'm going to move on from this. We'll work on that later. Now we're going to get to the release level, and we're going to roll up, we'll say marketing budget, which is going to be a actual currency field. And then we're going to have marketing spend. Call this marketing actual. And there's going to be budget line items, the amount, whereby type is any of, and then so marketing is going to be out of home. I guess that's marketing. And then we'll go duplicate, call this digital actual, and digital is going to be digital fine, duplicate promo creative publicity. Something's wrong here. Promo. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's right. We got 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cool. And then we need marketing budget. We'll say digital budget. We'll say promo budget. Creative budget. And then publicity budget. Budget. All right, not a lot of time left, people. Let's start building the interface. So we're going to call this relational records. And then first thing will be a list view. And it'll have releases. Yeah, sure. Artists, why not? Yeah, why not? We'll have to work on it later. But we'll have artists. We'll have another table that's a list view. We'll call this releases. Labels, sure. finish. And then we'll say list view will be for releases. And then budget line items is not going to be a list view. For budget line items, we're going to use a record review. Yeah, record review should work. Maybe. And then we'll use budget line items. Okay. One more. Go with budget items. And then one more is going to be a list of contacts. But we'll call this we'll call this directory. It's like the employees or whatever. Cool. So artist, labels, directory, releases, budget line items. So releases is really what we care about here. We got first and last name. We got release date. We don't need the artist in there. Don't really need the title in there. We do want to show this stuff. So creative budget versus creative actual, marketing budget versus marketing actual, digital budget versus digital actual, promo budget versus promo actual, publicity budget versus publicity actual. And then we've got sort of status, format, stuff like that. Format. Okay. Format before status, why not? All right. And then budget line items is going to be here. This was a mistake. This whole thing was a mistake. It's not going to be budget line items at all. It's going to be another way of looking at releases. And I'm going to delete this. I'm going to start over. Record review. Releases. Here we go. Next, we're going to call this budget line items. So you select your release on the left. And in this thing here, we need to show some more stuff. So we'll have the artist and title, status, but I think I want format and status. Actually, probably not format so much as date, release date. And then we'll sort these things by date. And then in here, we're going to just have budget line items. So we go to the linked record field, budget line. Oh, that's not what I wanted. Let's delete that. I want budget line items as a grid. Let's just make it full. Close that up for a second. Let's limit what we show here. Let's show let's not show the primary field. We don't need the releases, description, amount, type, status, invoice. Cool. I like that. And then let's group these by type. And then let's allow adding and deleting in line. And then let's actually bring in some of this information here. Marketing budget. Marketing actual. The formatting here, you'll see it's going to take a second. Digital budget. Digital actual. Put that back up there now. Creative budget. Creative actual. In interest of time, I'm just going to worry about these three things. I'm not going to do it all, but you'll see how this works in a second. All right, so here we are. We are the record. We are an employee in the digital department, and we want to come in here and we want to say, hey, you know what? We actually don't need this field in the front at all because it's already part of the thing. Cool. So we come back in here, we open up a new line, we say that we spent on digital ads. The amount is $7,100. It's in digital, and it's type submitted. Now you're seeing this number change, right? Now, if I'm the person who's got oversight over this stuff and I'm in the releases table, we have to give them the ability to edit records in line. So once they're editing records in line, they can come in here and say, all right, well, what's the digital budget? The digital budget for these things is, I don't know, 50,000, 20,000, 8,500, 15,000, boom, boom, boom. And they can go down the line. An easier, quicker way for me to do this in the interest of time is just to make these numbers editable, which they probably wouldn't be in reality, but let's just do that so I can come in here and do this. So I've got a $50,000 budget. Creative, I've got a $25,000 budget, and someone's going to shoot a music video, let's say. So they're going to come in here and they're going to say music video shoot. The whole thing is costing 21,000. Change this to creative. Type submitted. Now you'll see 21,000 versus 25,000. We're getting pretty close. And then what do you say for marketing? We've got like out of home expenses or something. So let's say roadside billboard. And that's going to be 17.5, and that's paid. And roadside billboard is not creative. Roadside billboard is out of home. Out of home puts it into the marketing budget because of the conditions we set, and that's going to say that marketing was meant to be 15,000. We've already spent 17.5. We are over. There's a problem, etc., etc., etc. What else do we need? Releases. All that information is also available right here very easily. Let's throw some information here like the label. Do we have the release? So let's use a lookup field to go to the artist and look up the label. And let's change that thing from label from artist just to a label. Come back into the interface. Add the label, bring that baby up, add the label, artist, label, release date. Okay, let's do a little detail screen here. Open up a detail screen. Sure, label, release date. We can always want to have that to be changed. Format, fine. Status, fine. All these budget things, no, we don't need those because it's available on the main screen. But what I do want to put here is the team. So let's go to data. Let's look up the teams from the artist in the release. So we'll say look up all these team people. Okay. Let's go back to the interface, back to the detail screen, and let's say add a new group, call it team, and then add in this stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now from the data, let's just make this like, get rid of this from artist part, make it nice and clean. And then we're kind of golden, man. Let's put some more information in detail screen, retail. We got all that stuff, label, team. So there's no publicity person for the Beatles. So let's go to directory and let's open up this, allow, and let's add a group and we'll call it, well, let's make this artist thing a view. It's going to be a list. And we've got Queen, which is Electra. And we got releases. Don't necessarily need to know the releases in this view. So let's take that away. But we've got Queen. And let's say we want to add. So we want to add delete records in line. That's not what I want. I want a button. Link on link records. There we go. And we'll call this button add artist to roster, I guess. So we come in here, we add, what did I say, the Beatles. Delete that. Delete that. Add artist to roster. Boom. Boom. And then we should be good. So like, where were we? Go back to the releases, look at the Beatles. Now you've got somebody and everything for there. Somebody for every department. Now, one more feature, maybe one more, I want to show you is you can come in here in the list view, click elements. Now you can start just throwing filters up there. So let's filter, you can filter by artist, you can filter by label, you can filter by format. So now you come in here and you're like, I want to see everything that is on Sire. And you could, if you had a bunch of stuff, you could just see it all there. I want to see everything that is a single that's on Sire. Boom, reset, you're good. Budget line items. Looking good. Let's go to another one. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon. I want to add a press. We'll call this indie publicist. Paid $7,500. Status is paid. Submit the invoice there. You're good. And let's see, what else? What else did I miss? Artist needs to be shaped up a little bit. We don't need to show the releases in the list view. It's not very good. Or the contacts, but we just got an artist and a label, and let's sort it by name. Then we have a detail screen, and in the detail screen for the artist, we're going to say quickly who the label is. We're going to say for releases, we're going to make this a list view. And the information here that's available for release is going to be the name of the release and the date and maybe the status. Let's tighten this up a little bit. Click into there, allow it, use the same detail screen for the release, which helps. And then you got that. Bob Dylan, we're gonna make this a team as well. We'll call this team. And we'll say that we can just limit the people here to their name and their department. So we have 3 people in the A&R department linked to Bob Dylan, but no people in marketing. So let's say we want to link on link. This is going to say add team member. Let's open it up. And now let's put some digital people in there. We'll put some marketing people in there. We'll put some promo people in there. Put some digital people in there. Boom. Now this person's got something for everybody. They got releases. And then I can keep going. I think I've got 4 minutes or so. Maybe a little over 45. But that's what I've got as far as time before my next meeting. Let's put a button here. So we'll put a button and we'll call this. That's not what I wanted. Let's delete this. Add records through a form. Here's the form. Add release. I'm going to call it add release. Action is open record creation form. Record creation form is going to say who's the artist, what's the title, what's the release date. Must make these required. Status can default to planning, but you can always change it. Budget line items is not a thing for this. Format we certainly need. Let's put that up there right next to title. I'm not going to set these budgets at this level, that's for sure. So title and format are all required. Release date up there. Maybe title, release date down here. Status, tighten that up. Everything's required. Cool. Call this add new release. Close it down. I don't like this whole print thing. They offer you out of the box the ability to print. I don't like it. So I turned that off. So here we go. Releases. Add new release. So now we've got Michael Jackson. Beat It. It's coming. April. Format is EP, sure. Planning, yeah. Boom. Michael Jackson Beat It. So now when you go to artists and you go to Michael Jackson, you've got 2 releases and you can look at Beat It, make some changes, see the team, add your checklists, add all the things you want. But this video was about budget line items. So let's go to Beat It. Set the budget, 50,000, 25,000, 15,000. Start adding some stuff. Say digital ads, 15,000. Type digital, status submitted. Say influencer marketing, digital, 10. Radio promo, 25. Promo, submitted, and here we go. Go back to releases. One thing I want to add to budget line items is the vendor. So we're going to say vendor, but that's going to be a linked record out to a table called organizations. And organizations is going to have the vendor name, in this case, XYZ Productions. But then it's also going to have like their, I don't know, legal name. And then all the address information, invoice information, blah, 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 blah. So every time you use that person, you've got that stuff. Address, all that stuff. And in the last couple minutes, we'll go to a budget line item here. Go in here. Add vendor. And now we can say like for Hound Dog, for instance, we used XYZ Productions. And it looks like if you want to, you can add one. So hit here, hit plus, type some text to create a record. I like that. So we'll say ABC Pictures. Boom. Created it. 15,000. Digital. We'll say animated promo teasers or something like that. Paid. Publish. Boom. And we're good. Artists, labels, directory, releases, budget line items. Time's up, people. I'm out.